Welcome to the Fight for Facts. We're going to talk about fake news and misinformation, how we got here and what we can do about it. To find out how we got here, to this age of echo chambers, bubble filters, influencers and algorithms, we're going back. Here in Newport, South Wales, in 1839, men from across the southeast Wales valleys marched to demand the right to vote, an event that became known as the Newport Rising. It's thought that at least 22 died that day, though two popular newspapers of the time, the Western Vindicator and the Monmouthshire Merlin, gave different accounts of the events, with disagreements on the number of men that marched down Stow Hill and the casualties on both sides. Even today, debate continues about the final motives of the Chartists. I think it's time to speak to an expert.
There's very much a battle in the press between the Tory press, and the Tories were in opposition in that period, and those who were largely supporters of the Whig government. The Whigs had come to power in 1832 and were in government at the time of the Rising. And in the aftermath of the Rising, the Tories went on the attack. They were attacking the Whigs because they felt they hadn't done enough to deal with the Rising. And I think there was very much this fear that Wales would become a second Ireland, that it would be a fairly lawless land with radical ideas running out of control. So we very much get that sort of political ding-dong that's going on. And of course, other newspapers from other parts of Great Britain as a whole, and particularly Ireland, chip into that debate. And I think the job of the historian is to ask certain questions about those sources. So, who wrote them? Is that person trustworthy? Can you trust what they're trying to say? When did they write it? Are they writing it in hindsight? Or they write it and then we've got a passage of time afterwards? How did they write it? What information did they have at their disposal in order to assess a particular situation? All these questions which we have to ask in order to assess and to evaluate a piece of evidence and to make sense of it. And of course, within that context, bias is an important thing.